Hi, I'm Nikki, the Obsessive Bookseller. Welcome to my wrap-up for March 2023. Now, the thumbnail is a little misleading because I included everything on there that I am in the process of reading, but not necessarily everything that I finished this month. It's been kind of a weird month. So to kick things off, possibly my 3 favorite things that I have going right now didn't get touched at all in March. So I've got Empire of Black and Gold by Tchaikovsky, Ruin by John Gwynne, and House of Chains by Steven Erikson. All 3 of these books I was in progress on at the end of February, and then decided to do this random library TBR project that took up almost the entire month, and I didn't even touch these. Between that and book club, I had way too much on my plate and never got around to these books. This is definitely not me following my own mantras of reading the best books first. But I kept thinking, I'll be finished with this project soon, and then I can get back to those really good books. And I did pick up chapters here and there, but not enough significance to even tell you anything more about what happened in the story. So that was a colossal fail. We're going to address that in April. Books actually finished. For Read Burn Hoard, I read Spellwright by Blake Carlton. First book in a series, I read it for Read Burn Hoard. It has a cover quote by Robin Hobb, and it just looked like one of those really fun academic classic fantasies that I would just eat up. And you know what? I did. It was awesome. Perhaps the story wasn't as robust as other books that I've read in the genre, but it made up for it tenfold with a fun magic system and just loads of fun. Did I mention it was fun? Because it was really fun. My favorite thing about it was the setting. Created this amazing atmosphere, this really cool place where all of the events took place, and the gargoyles. They're like really complex spell constructions that are animated to whatever degree of magic that the person puts into it, and it's just really cool. They function in a whole bunch of different ways, so creative. I can't wait to read on to the next one. I am a little concerned that once you take away the setting and the gargoyles that I won't enjoy it as much. It will be a definite test to see if I like the next one as much as I like this one. Wild success though, one of the best ones I've found doing that Read Burn Hoard feature, and yeah, very excited. Bronze Gods by A.A. Aguirre. This is a steampunk mystery, and it's kind of leaning more mystery at this point than urban fantasy, but there's enough magical components that, yeah, it could be shelved in both places, but it has just enough magic that I think it'll appeal more to the urban fantasy crowd. And truthfully, I don't read enough mysteries to know well enough whether or not the mystery is being done well here. For an amateur mystery reader, I think it's okay. But I talk about this at length at my A to Z challenge, so I'll leave it at that. I am almost finished with Guns of Dawn by Adrian Tchaikovsky, and someone recommended this to me years ago. I know I've mentioned this before. I love flintlock fantasy. It's my favorite subgenre. I've loved almost every single book I've read in that genre, and this one is no exception so far. I love the military aspect of things, and I love the kind of bending of gender roles a little bit, at least compared to most military fantasies that I've read. Usually the ones that I read, the women have a role, but they're not like the primary focus. And so I love that this is like a Victorian era, meets the battlefield, and just seeing how these women cope with the things they're faced with. It's so good. Tchaikovsky is already amazing at creating really good momentum in books, and I love his writing style. I love his background and how he infuses psychology and zoology into the things that he writes. Like, he's quickly becoming one of my favorite authors, because when he works for me, he really works for me. And I just can't wait to see where this one ends. It's my highest priority right now, specifically because it was for Patreon Book Club, and I am the last one to have not finished it yet. Yeah, I blame a project that I'm going to talk about here in a minute. And finally, I've continued my progress very slowly with The Will of the Many by James Islington. I kind of put it down to focus on my A to Z project because I only have so many hours in the day to physically read things, and that one's a physical read. But whenever I get back to The Will of the Many, it is so good so far. I already love this author's writing and storytelling. I love his unconventionality. I love his creativity. He takes classic fantasy ideas, but writes them in such a modern and sophisticated manner that it's not boring at all. There's so much complexity to the things that he writes. And I love the basic structure of the world building behind this one, and the character is so interesting so far, and we're getting just little nuggets of information as we go along to kind of build the setting before we launch off into the main story. So good. There are so many elements in this book that I have seen other places but never done as well as what he is doing here. and I'm not very far along, maybe 20%, and I'm already loving it. Now, this is the pitfall of having so many books going at once, is that I've not been able to go back and focus on it more. I may even not even get to it before it comes out, so everybody else is going to be able to read it by the same time I am. What is the point of getting an ARC if you don't read it early? I don't know, woe is me, but I'm really loving it. Basically, I'm reporting that I finished 2 books and made progress on maybe 2 more. I did more reading than that this month, but they're for projects that don't air in April, and I know a lot of you like me to keep the mystery of what I'm reading for each project there. I did read a couple of books for Project Sci-Fi, that was really fun, and then I did my library TBR project, which you've already seen the TBR. I read a few books for that, but I'll save my information on that for the vlog that's coming out in a couple weeks on that. That library TBR project took up my entire month, and it was really fun. I'm glad I did it. Wouldn't you know it, all of the spots that I created by reading through books on my library holds, I have since filled up again with more holds. I feel like I'm back where I started, but that's okay. I really enjoyed everything that I got through. But I will be reporting more on those in that vlog and then in my wrap up for April, since it doesn't go live until then. What I want to know is where the heck my month went. It went way too fast. I had a ton going on between kids being home from spring break and then my family having medical work done. I have not had time to do anything for myself, really. So it's a miracle that I have read what I have. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If I've learned nothing else from all the nonfiction books I've been reading lately, is that our time is the most valuable thing we have, and I really appreciate the time that you decide to spend with me. Thanks again, and I hope to catch you next time.